welcome to another episode of Talking Shop. I got my buddy Tyrone Ross here looking very dapper.
I had to clean up for you, man.
Off of a big lunch for somebody else, we'll keep that on the hush-hush. But we're here at Penn Station. This guy's friendly enough to take me back to Newark Airport on my way out of the city. So 2 days with him has been outstanding. We got a lot of time with you today. Got a train right ahead. But I wanted real quick before we grab our coffee and run, have you give everybody an update on the crypto space. Because you were on my podcast a while back. Things were sky high or pretty close, and now they have cratered. So give us your update on the crypto space, and maybe we'll dive into some fintech as well.
Okay. So, I mean, let's just keep it simple, right? If you look at what's happened to Bitcoin this quarter, it's gotten decimated, especially within the last 2 weeks. But if you look at it, the first 3 months of the year, it was up a tad, right? It was actually, fairly stable. The market as a whole has collapsed, right? Top to bottom, you're talking roughly 90%. But what's not being talked about is all of the good news that has come out this year, led by, obviously, Yale getting involved and Fidelity announcing that they're going to be a qualified custodian. All big news, but there's still so much happening that people really don't know about and hasn't been reflected in the price. So as I mentioned in something that you guys will see soon is the first quarter of 2019, I do think we're going to start to see a lot of what has been built be reflected in price, but not before I think we take another leg down. Why? Because those that are familiar with the space, if you open CoinMarketCap right now, you look at the bottom 50 coins, they got to get washed out. There's still a lot of excess in the system.
I call those shit coins.
Yeah. Shit coins, for those keeping score at home, and you'll start to see that now with a lot of the ICO regulation and everything getting washed out. To that point, that's also something else that has happened this year is the ICOs. A lot of them have been under attack. A lot of them have been in the focus squarely of the SEC, so you're starting to see that wash out now reflected in the price of Ether.
So since Bitcoin and Ether and all those other ones are more legitimate than the bottom 50,
right?
Not that you have that crystal ball, but why do you think there's been such a crash?
Oh man, I think it's just simply because the run-up last year was completely ridiculous. I think the economics got ahead of the technology, and it was just a craze, right? And the price just simply got away. And now what you're seeing is a lot of that reality set in, and one is I think with ICOs, right? A lot of that was folks who were sitting on a lot of Ether. Ether's gotten pummeled. I think with Bitcoin, you're starting to see, in a risk-off environment, macro-wise, right? Risk assets are the first to be sold off, so people are selling off Bitcoin. So, and then with Bitcoin being the leader of the pack, when Bitcoin comes down, so goes the market. So I think there's so many factors involved. I think some of the regulation, I think some of, again, retail investors being washed out. I think a lot of opium of, the Bitcoin ETF. If you've seen what I said at Consensus, I think, a lot of people know my feelings on that. That not actually happening, and the institutional money coming to save the day hasn't happened. So I just think right now it's crypto winter, it's a bear market, and then reality has set in.
So how many times has Bitcoin crashed? Like so Batnick wrote a post about Amazon. If you've held it for so long, you've experienced like 2 or 3, 80% plus corrections. This is what, number 3 or 4?
4. So yeah, the crypto OGs, and that's original gangsters, not old gangsters, right? Will tell you that they're going on their fourth. So it's par for the course with Bitcoin, right? And when you're talking again, it's still about a very new technology, right? So very much in the experimental phase right now. So this is what happens. As we were also talking about, is I don't think you can compare it to Amazon, right? There's, it's a protocol, it's not a company. None of these, and even the ones that are quote unquote decentralized and have a central figure, it's not Jeff Bezos, and you can't say there's going to end up like Amazon. So I don't think comparing protocols to companies or crypto to stocks is a fair comparison. This is technology that's very, very new that people every day like myself are still learning a lot about. So to even try and put price targets or determine where things are going or try and pair it with something that we have some familiarity with, because that's what human beings do. I think that makes sense to try and frame it, but it's hard to look at anything in history and say that this is that. It's just not.
I think the Amazon comparison is fair, just to give people, if you really do believe in this technology, and maybe you get to that point where you're questioning it, you can look at something like an Amazon, not apples to apples, but to see that there were people who believed in Amazon and they experienced these types of declines. So to your point, maybe relatability, but it's not the exact same thing.
Right. I will go a step further and say Amazon was a bet on people that believed that people will go online and buy things, right? It was a belief in e-commerce, right? It was the belief that people would put their credit cards online and buy something. And people who believed in the internet and believed that that would happen then bet on Amazon, and then the rest is history, right?
So still bullish on the technology and everything long term? This is just part of the process?
I am more bullish now than I've ever been in the space. One of the things that I continue to say is two things. One, if crypto goes to zero tomorrow, the financial services industry has changed forever, right? Back to those examples, Napster died. It was a disaster, but what happened was it left a gaping hole in the legacy music industry, and it's forever changed. Second thing, most of the projects that are being built are private, and people don't know what they are yet, and they're coming to market, and that's what makes it really, really exciting. And I think also the main thing is the people who truly have opinions on this and studied it, really, really smart people that get it, understand that no matter what happens here, the world has changed, and there will be some type of digital currency, digital money, whatever you want to call it, at some point. What I also love is that there's really smart people that haven't been convinced, and when the market was down 500%, all I saw on my Twitter was traditional finance folks bashing crypto and talking about crypto. To me, that's a bullish sign. That's legitimacy, that you've created a space in the brain, right? You rented space in the mind of those that should care about the market being down 500%, but all they can talk about is Bitcoin. So I'm very bullish long term, and I think there's just great things to come. But again, we're still very, very early. Not first inning, not second inning, the draft. Right? We're drafting teams.
Napster, that's a great example. It also dates us as old guys. Because there's kids out there that don't know Napster. Was there anything worse than going to Napster, downloading a song, and then it not being the song until died? That was so frustrating. You wait 3 hours to get the song, you hit play, and it's not that song, it's something else.
Yeah.
All right, so one last thing before we get going.
Absolutely.
Fintech, it's a big area of your expertise as well.
Love it.
One, not necessarily project, but one space within fintech that you're extremely excited about.
Voice. I am over the moon about voice. I think if you look at mobile, if you look at video, right, if you look at all of these things, I think if you add them all up, they won't be as disruptive as what voice is going to be. And I think the day will come, right, where Siri, Alexa, I forget what Google's calling there, but hey Google, is that what it is? But no matter what, I think it's going to be a day where people just literally speak to these devices, or speak to their watch, or speak to their phone, or whatever the case may be, and have direct access to Justin, right? Contact Justin, or give me an update on my account, or move $5,000 worth of Bitcoin from my Coinbase to my hardware wallet, whatever the case may be. And it doesn't mean that it is going to disrupt our industry, but I think as financial advisors embrace that, what Voice is going to be able to do is free you up on the back end and allow you to provide an awesome customer service experience for your client.
Those of us that embrace it. There'll be a bunch
Those of us that embrace it, absolutely.
Sounds good. Well, I appreciate taking time for talking shop.
I appreciate you coming out, man. This is awesome.
You showing me around and for the friendship and everything. And shout out to this Bonaparte.
Absolutely.
We had a great time with you yesterday as well.
Absolutely.
So stay tuned. There'll be more episodes coming, and we'll see you in the next one.
Happy holidays, folks.